there's been more growth and change in my last 3 years than any other period of my life, including killing Heidi, including getting famous, or including being in like a pop rock band. You know, that's nothing compared to the shifts that are going on now.
Singer-songwriter, TV personality and radio presenter Ella Hooper played her first set at Dashville as part of the 10th edition of their Cosmic Country Weekender festival, Dashville Skyline. The last few years have been transformative for Ella, who is currently taking on roles that she has deemed as dream jobs, including working as a breakfast host on Broad Radio and performing the Linda Rondstadt Show around Australia. We caught up with Ella following her debut set at Dashville Skyline. First set at Dashville, first time at Dashville. How was that experience?
It's been amazing. I already knew I'd love it, but to come and sort of consummate that love was just so good. Yeah. Like the vibe, the people, the selection of bands. I've just been like a pig in shit.
If you had to describe or explain Dashville to someone who hasn't been here before, how would you do that?
Oh my God, it's community. Like it's unfortunately that's an overused word. It's been cheapened a little bit. You know, people use it on ads and for corporate products and shit like that. But this is what community feels like. Everybody's looking out for each other. Everybody's looking after each other. They're showing the performers such respect because it's a music lovers. So I would say music lovers festival and a musos festival. Like the musos are just having the best time too.
Yeah, that's so true. And speaking of community, you've just become involved in this incredible thing called Broad.
Yeah.
Which is all about putting diverse voices to the front and actually giving them more than one side or one dimension. You're explaining like full humans and allowing them to have that space. Tell me, how did you get involved with it and why did you want to?
Well, I mean, I have a few side hustles. As a lifelong musician, I sort of was like, ooh, you know, there are periods in time where I want to do other jobs, basically. I want to try other things. I want to try my hand at a lot of things. Radio, TV, podcasting, media stuff is something I really enjoy doing. So I'm always sort of on the lookout for the right gig in media, whether it's, you know, radio or TV. And they approached me and said, this is we feel like this is missing, this kind of platform. And I was like, yeah, it is missing. You know, you still turn on the radio and still turn on the TV, and the default setting is sort of a masculine take on everything, or, you know, through that lens. And so when they said that they were about amplifying women's voices and the diversity within that, I was like, I'm in. I'm a card-carrying girl's girl, and I've always wanted to try breakfast radio because I'm a psycho, and I want to see if I can actually get up at 5 a.m. and make sense by 6 a.m. So we'll see.
Oh my God. So when does it all kick off?
Monday, I think.
What?
Yeah, literally in 2 days' time, I think so.
Oh my gosh.
And they have done it in other forms before. You know, there's been a bit of stuff online on YouTube and a few sort of products and ventures under the Broad umbrella before this, but that's when we'll go live. We'll be a radio station. It's online, so you can listen to it on the website, the internet, like I said, YouTube, or download the app and listen to us yabbering away on the breakfast radio show.
What is it that keeps bringing you back to media and working within it? Because obviously you could go off and do anything you bloody wanted, and yet you keep coming back and pursuing that.
I actually really, I'm a fan. Like, I get off on promoting other people more than myself, believe it or not. I find it's easier to talk about things that I'm passionate about, like other artists, of course, music, but also issues and you know, just dimensions of society that I really enjoy talking about that aren't just strictly music. And there's only so much I can say on stage at a gig without talking too much and ripping the crowd off, because they're like, we were here to watch you sing, girl, shut up. So it's all like my talking just spills out into media.
What do you love finding out when you're doing interviews about music? What is it that you normally gravitate to?
I'm a big one. Like I used to be a big liner notes reader. Like, how are the things made? Where were the things made? Who was involved behind the scenes? Maybe that's because I'm a songwriter and someone who loves to record albums. But I find the nitty-gritty details really interesting. Why artists made the choices they did, and of course what the songs are about. Like what's going on in their lives that influenced the music. But I often find like that answer's in the song, but the song can't always tell me the nitty gritty, because I'm a bit of a train spotter and I like to know like what mic was used and what studio was that recorded at, if any, and nerdy shit like that.
Beautiful. And so what's your recording process normally like?
Oh, it changes every time, to be honest. It's been evolving over the last few years. I write at home usually in like any stolen moments of quietude, or if I'm just walking down the street, I start whispering into my iPhone and like the songs just come. I capture what I can of the melody and what I can of the lyric. Then when I get time, I go home and nut them out on my guitar and then take them to the band, then take them to either the home studio with a friend, or if I've saved up enough money, I go to the real studio and make it like that.
Yeah, beautiful. Lately, you're about to perform another Linda Rondstadt Show.
Yeah.
How did you get into that? And what do you love about getting to perform all these Linda Rondstadt songs?
Oh, that's like, I mean, I'm a lucky girl because that's kind of the dream gig. I would say a lot of these things I'm doing at the moment, like Broad, the Linda Rondstadt Show, the Ella Hooper music, solo music, is all stuff that I just find so enriching. But Linda, man, I just adore her. As I said, I'm a fan. And we did a one-off show at Out on the Weekend in Melbourne for like Love Police, and it just went down really, really well. You know, we had this cracking hot band behind me playing such classic songs, the hits of the 60s, 70s, some of the 80s. And Linda Rondstadt's also someone that I find really inspiring because she did pop, she did country, she did rock and roll brilliantly. Yeah. She also did like Spanish language albums, opera, jazz, blues. She kind of did it all. And not saying I can do that, but I would like to do that. Yeah. I look up to that. Yeah,
absolutely. And so finally, I'd love to ask about Ella Hooper solo music. Like, lots of people would know you from Killing Heidi. What was that kind of transition and like rebranding? What was that like, that journey? And do you feel like you're still on it, or?
Yeah, I do. I actually do feel like I'm still on it, which is interesting. That's a really good question, because I would have thought that after this long, like I think my first solo single or whatever came out in 2013 or something. You know, it's been a while.
Over 10 years.
Yeah, over 10 years now I've been releasing solo music, but it's taken a long time for me to sort of really massage it into my heart music. Like I stand by everything I've released under my name. I think they're really good records, but you know, one is a little bit synth poppy and dark and kind of edgy, and the next is like kind of a moody sort of synth folk odyssey concept breakup album, and then arriving at Small Town Temple, this most recent album, which actually came out like 2 years ago now, it felt like something just clicked, and I simplified it, and I let the songs be more how like I write them. You know, I just didn't add on as many bells and whistles, and because I just write on acoustic guitar, I was like, well, maybe this is more of like a country folk album. That's how I write. Let's let it be that, and it's just felt amazing.
And has much changed since you released that last album?
Yes. Oh my god, my life has completely changed since releasing Small Town Temple. Like personally, career-wise, I've changed a lot as a person. Like I'm finding myself just coming into myself way more. You know, I turned 40. I lost both my parents to cancer. We had COVID. So all of a sudden I'm like this, I guess grown woman. And what am I going to do with that? There's no going home anymore. So I'm in the wilderness, and I think I'm doing okay. Yeah. Like, I mean, that happens to all of us at some point. Those revelation moments and metamorphosis moments. So the last few years there's been more growth and change in my last 3 years than any other period of my life, including Killing Heidi, including getting famous, or including being in like a pop rock band. You know, that's nothing compared to the shifts that are going on now. So yeah, it's wild.
Very wild. I've never even thought about like the concept of not being able to go home. Like
it's really changes you. It changes you, and you know, and losing both of them in a short space of time was just like, holy shit. I get it. That's enough now. But it also made it undeniable, like that I had to move forward, or I don't know, meltdown. You know, definitely have had my share of meltdowns, but creatively, and they would love this, but it's like set me on fire creatively because, and it's also put a big boot up my ass to like get shit done.
Yeah.
So there are those, dare I say, silver linings, you know.
Were they big supporters of your
Yeah,
music?
oh, massive.
Yes.
Like, massive. Yeah, they're actually on the record Small Town 10-4, so they sort of passed right after I finished it. And Mum sings backing vocals and Dad plays recorder, so it's a very special album for so many reasons. Like, I didn't know that was going to happen, but yeah, so it's cosmic. It's cosmic that my most recent thing and the last thing we did together as a family is like on wax. Crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Ella, you are so brilliant.
Thank
you
you
so much for spending some time with me today, and it's so good to have you at Dashville.
Oh my God, I never want to leave. I'm staying.
Yes, please.
So you know I'm moving to Wollongbar? No.
Yeah, well, honestly, I wouldn't put it past you.
I
It
really
sounds
could,
like
you know.
you might be a Newey
Like
local
I said,
soon.
life is up in the air, so you
Yeah.
might be seeing a lot more of me.
Fingers crossed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was so much fun. You are so brilliant. Oh my
Thanks,
God.
honey.
You're such an inspiration.